say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.
Critics, many of them Democrats from what I'm reading, who say that, you know what, he is not the right person. I want to hear now from Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and I'll get your reaction. And actually, it's a tweet. Mike Pence literally does not believe in science. It is utterly irresponsible to put him in charge of U.S. coronavirus response as the world sits on the cusp of a pandemic. This decision could cost people their lives. Pence's past decisions already have. What do you make of that, Governor?
Well, the first, she ought to look up the definition of the word literally, which she uses rather frequently without understanding what it means. To say that Mike Pence doesn't believe in science is absurd. But then a lot of the things that she says is, tend to be absurd. And the tragedy is, I think it's despicable that people are using this whole potential health crisis as an opportunity to get into very narrowly defined partisan politics. There is a genuine concern that we all ought to have, but it ought to transcend whether we're the left or the right. This is not a horizontal issue, left, right, liberal, conservative. It's a vertical issue. We're either doing it right or we're not doing it right, and that's the only thing we ought to focus on.
And just to kind of round this out, because you are so good at talking when people have had criticisms levied against them, I'm curious to know your thoughts on the criticism against Vice President Pence as he heads up the coronavirus efforts now with his past with HIV and an outbreak that happened when he was governor in Indiana.
Well, the criticism is that he didn't want to have a needle exchange program and give people needles, which is, a reaction that a lot of people have, that's not the ideal. That's an arguable point. But I think he is the right person. He has been a governor. He's been a congressman. Particularly as a governor, he's run a state response to various health issues. Now as vice president, he's in a position to bring together all of the public health officials and the top minds in the world to help make sure that we get the right response. He doesn't have to be a medical doctor to coordinate. I think he's the right person. Bring in people like Mike Leavitt, who was both Utah governor and HHS secretary. But let me tell you, Harris, most people don't realize every governor in the country, if they prepared right, have already done tabletop exercises in dealing with the pandemic. They have been trained in what to do and how to do it. So I think that there's probably maybe more of a focus that the vice president has than people give him credit.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Douglas Ducote Show. Does this look stupid? Yeah, it does. Good gosh almighty. I'm so happy that you're here. This right here is what they're telling you to go out and buy, my friends. Yep, it's the N95. You know what it's good for? Not against this virus. It's not. And let's take it just a step further. All of the masks and gloves in China, according to certain news organizations here in America, are going to get banned in the shipment process. They're not going to come here. They're going to stop sending them here for a couple of reasons. Number one, they don't like us. And number two, they want them there to help protect their own people, which I don't blame them. If the virus had started here and started spreading out, we wouldn't want them shipping all our stuff out over there when we got our own people we need to protect, correct? And you're hearing that it's all, they're running off the shelves. There's no more of them, because, China quit shipping them. Well, look, to all of those that are reporting about how the shelves are running out, this week, I have gone every day to my local Stein's Lumber, Home Depot, Lowe's, and guess what's on all the shelves? The N95 mask. Furthermore, if you buy the one that's made by 3M, it's not even made in China. It's made in Mexico. So I just gave the drug cartel kudos there, because they're probably going to go and now try and intercept all these masks at the border so that they can make money off of it like they're doing the avocados right now. But seriously, folks, are there places that are running out of these N95 masks? Sure there are. Why? Because they didn't have a bunch of them stocked up to start with. They have the more little thin paper masks used for painting and things of that nature, where you don't want that going into your system. All right. That's the bigger part of this equation. The more expensive mask, the N95, for instance, they didn't have a whole bunch of those in the beginning. Can they help? Yeah, they can help. And why is that? Well, because if you're standing a few feet from somebody that has the coronavirus and they sneeze or they cough and you're wearing this, especially if they're wearing one too, which is like everybody in China, guess what? You're not going to get it. The airborne particles aren't going to float in from their mask out and to your mask in. So that's the positive thing about it. But if you're standing a few feet away from somebody that happens to cough and sneeze that has the virus and you're wearing a mask and they're not, chances are you're still not going to get it. But is this N95 mask the end all of keeping you protected? Nope. It's not going to hurt, but in order to be 100% safe, you need like one of those NASA packs with the freaking breathing apparatus thing and the hose coming out and it's recirculating air and a big full face mask. That's what you would need to protect yourself to the degree that they claim the N95 will. Now, where am I getting my information? I'm getting my information from family members that are doctors. I'm getting my information from friends that are serving in the military right now and what they're being told, friends that are serving in law enforcement right now and what they're being told, and simple Google searches. All right. Are there precautions you can take? Yeah. Don't go to China. All right. Don't go to big areas where there's a whole bunch of people. Like, I don't know, what we just had down in New Orleans of 1.5 million people came in for the weekend from all over the world. And that kind of scares the shit out of me. Those type of events, as we get closer to spring coming up, there's all types of events that are going to be happening. Right now, we see Disney World, people canceling trips that they had planned because what happens in America? You have a lot of people from countries that are now affected with this virus coming to America, and they do this every year. This is their vacation spot come to the big PX in the sky, America. So, look, the highest numbers of deaths in America is going to be the numbers in the stock market. All right. The stock market is taking a huge hit right now. And of course, listening to the Democrats and listening to the liberals, it's all Trump's fault. He screwed this all up. He doesn't know what he's doing. Oh, hell, he put it off on Mike Pence. And according to AOC, Mike Pence is not qualified to be in charge of this. He has no idea what he's doing. He's a complete idiot. What a shame. Well, if Mike Pence, who used to be a governor, and all of his experience in politics and making connections with people in the medical world and technology world, and as the vice president of the United States is not qualified to be in charge of this, well, let's see, AOC, where did you come from to make it into Congress to be in charge of our policies? Oh, you are a bartender. Not an insult on bartenders. I know some bartenders. She's an insult to bartenders because that's all she's ever done in her life. She hasn't done shit, nothing but 10 bar. And now she's a member of Congress slamming the vice president of the United States because he is going to be the point person with the government and the White House to make final decisions based off of, and she doesn't tell you this, the people that will be working under him under this coronavirus group of people they're putting together, which are some of the best doctors and scientists in America and other countries for that matter, that will come together. Mike Pence isn't going to be making the decision all on his own on how we're going to stop the spread of the coronavirus. And that's just stupid for that idiot to say. And, well, look at the source, folks. Now, let's talk a little bit of seriousness about this virus. Here's the big difference between the flu, which we live with on a daily basis here in America, and this virus. The flu kills 1 out of every 1,000 people that get infected with it here in America. That's a lot of people. Think how many people get the flu in America every year. 1 out of every 1,000 will die. Most of those are elderly people, people with bad immune systems. Maybe they have advanced AIDS or something like that. Or maybe they have, they've already got some type of the disease that's destroying their immune system, cancer, tons of different reasons why your immune system can be down. Those are the people, that's the 1 per 1,000 that are dying. With this virus, although it's been around for years, you can look at a Lysol can. If you got a can of Lysol in your bathroom or in your house, look on it. Look on the label of what the Lysol protects against. Coronavirus is on that label. It's been on that label for years because the coronavirus isn't new. What's new is this particular strain of it. And the past medications and things they've had in place to protect people from the coronavirus aren't part of this new virus for protection. So currently, we don't have any way to give you a shot or give you a pill to make it go away. That's the first thing you need to know. The second thing that makes this so much more serious, I just told you the flu kills 1 out of every 1,000 that get it. This kills 2 out of every 500 that get it. That, my friends, is a major number. That's based off of what's dying right now. Primarily, most of those where are in China, in Japan, and places in that part of the country. Although it is spreading, we now have numerous things going into effect when we found out that a soldier, a young guy in his 20s stationed over in South Korea, has come up positive for the coronavirus. Okay. Everybody he was in contact with while he was carrying this is probably infected, and the army is jumping through hoops right now to figure it out. Not only that, but guess what's a port of call in Japan besides cruise ships? Our Navy has huge bases all over that area. And guess what Japan's getting? This huge influx of the coronavirus. So now they got to start testing thousands, literally like probably over 100,000 sailors that have recently been in and out of port of calls in that area before they can come back to Hawaii or San Diego or wherever their home base is. That's not happening. They're not going to bring them back here and dump them off. You know, if the cruise was supposed to be for 5 months or 6 months or whatever that deployment was, and they happen to do a port of call over there in Southeast Asia, anywhere around it, guess what? Now that's a problem. So they have to get that under control, and they're doing that. What does this really protect you from? You stand a better chance of being protected from a computer virus. Oh, and that's not something that comes out and touches you. So here in America, as long as they restrict people coming from Southeast Asia countries and areas, and they quarantine anyone and everyone that comes from those areas, then we should be fairly okay. Can it get out of control and turn into what China did? Oh, of course it can, because our government's in charge of it. It doesn't matter if it's Mike Pence. It doesn't matter if it's a Democrat in office or a Republican in office. All right. Trust me, if you've ever worked for the government or you know somebody that has, if it can be screwed up, the United States government can do it on a level of insanity. So that's the bigger concern is, will we listen to the experts? When members of Congress and presidents send our military off to fight overseas, chances are it becomes a situation where they stop over time listening to the experts. Those are the generals, the higher ups, the commanders in the field. No, they start dictating how we're going to fight a war from Congress, and then we have more and more of our service members die. And that goes back to the beginning of time. That's just not something recent. That's every conflict we've ever been involved with, to include current day right now in Afghanistan and Iraq under Democrats and Republicans. They stop listening to those that understand warfare, and they start deciding what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. The best example of this, talk to any Vietnam veteran, and they'll tell you what an absolute goat rope that became when Congress started running the war and not the commanders in the field. Before I go any further, let me just mention something here. We're going to take calls tonight on this or whatever subject. The number's down at the bottom of the screen. We do not have anyone on tonight as a guest, so therefore we're going to do that early. Matter of fact, after I take my first break, we will open up the phone lines. So I suggest you go now and make the call and get in the queue to where you can get on and ask your questions. Let's see. What else did I want to talk to you guys about on this? See, AOC is a bartender. Yeah, I already did that. one way that, or one thing that I've heard recently, and this is from people in the medical profession that have way more degrees than I do, is anyone that has recently been in China or anywhere in Southwest Asia, stay the hell away from them. Now, Democrats and liberals will tell you, oh, you can't do that because that makes you a racist. That makes you a bigot. Guess what? No, that makes you smart. All right. Nothing against them, but, and I don't care if they're from China. All right. Anyone of any race, of any background that has recently come from that part of the country, and there are thousands of Americans that do that right now. Some of them can't get out anymore because we've cut off most of that travel. Those folks, get them tested. Make them go see the doctors. Quarantine yourself from them. I don't care if they're your brother, your sister, your mom or dad, your kid. Because if they are infected, then you get infected and another family, and then it's just, that's how the virus is. That's how the pandemic happens. We start spreading this all over the freaking place. And one or two things are about to happen real soon. And this, you're going to see this, I'm going to predict within the next 30 to 60 days. Either it's going to affect us here in America just like it is in Southeast Asia, or it's going to be a big nothing burger like all the other breaking news flashes we're all about to freaking wrap up and die. Okay? One of the two, 30 to 60 days. If we go 60 days and we're still at the same situation we are right now in America, which, oh, by the way, has the best health care in the world, depending on what or who you listen to, Democrats and liberals will tell you that, oh, it's the worst. Well, this is a good example of why it's the best. Everybody wants to come here that's got anything they need. If they need a surgery, they want to go to America. If they have a disease, they want to come to America because we have the best. All right. So that's the opening monologue. We're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we will have the phone lines open for you to call in. And we will continue the show right after this quick break. Hello, American patriots. Douglas Ducote here. The Second Amendment, it's not for hunting. It's for protecting ourselves against our government. Well, the last thing you need to worry about is your weapon being rusted and not working. Folks, here's your product. FirearmGuard.com. Use promo code Doug for free shipping. This will protect your weapon from any rust and mildew issues. I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. All right, we are back, and I'm using my wife's brush to fix my hair. Yes, it is pink. It is hers, and she happened to have it in my office. That's what this is good for. That's what this is good for screwing up your beard. And oh, if you have a beard, by the way, and even if the mask was good to protect you, it's not going to form a good seal, and therefore you're going to get the virus. All right, so you can't win for losing. I do want to say I recently, as in the past 2 days, have now started an account at Vimeo, I think is how it's pronounced. If you haven't already done so, please go over there and check out that platform. We're looking at expanding to other platforms besides YouTube because, well, you know why if you've been following me. It's a matter of time before they shut us down as we get closer to the 2020 election. And even if they don't shut us down, by the 2020 election, I'd like to be done with Google for life. Seriously. All right. I've had enough of this crazy far left liberal ideology freaks that are so out to get and wipe off the face of the earth us crazy conservatives that don't know what we're talking about. All right. And there's a bunch of them running it right now. So bring on my producer real quick. Who do we have people on the phone?
Well, yeah, we got the call boards lit up, and I just want to remind everybody too. We've been getting bugged by the whole American Joe crowd to get on D Live. So Doug is on D Live now over at the Douglas Ducote Show. We also stream
I didn't know that.
Yes, we're on D Live. We're also streaming over at Facebook page, the Douglas Ducote Show. We're streaming on his new, soon to be probably suspended Twitter account over there. So you can find that on Periscope, and then we stream on the website. We stream here on YouTube, and then we'll start streaming over to that Vimeo account. Actually, no, you can't stream live on there without the big one, which I don't want to get into that here. And then we're also working on possible internal app that we're kind of pricing out now and figuring out how that's going to work. And then there's someone in the chat. I don't know if you called, but please do. You were talking about how something about 16 states' medical professionals have a gag order that they can't speak on this. I just ran into 2 cases today of people that I know personally who work in infectious disease in hospitals that both told me they can't speak on the record. They didn't mention that. Probably wouldn't if that was the case, because they're probably bound by certain non-disclosure agreements. And then also, Kenneth Nicely, thank you for the donation. And I think it was Funky Boo. Yes, Funky Blue. Thank you for the super chats as well. So let's go to North Carolina. We have.
While we're doing the phone lines, can we take this stupid picture of me wearing the mask so I don't at least have to look at it? There you go. I don't want to see that picture anymore. Okay.
So let's go to. I think it's Murphy's Law in North Carolina.
Murphy's Law. Welcome to the Douglas Ducote Show. What's your question?
Well, it's not really a question. I fall down a lot of rabbit holes, and I got some dates to run by, and it's referring to the corona COVID-19.
Sure.
And
please, we got a bunch of folks to get to.
Okay, so I got some dates. July 1st, 2019, we had the Russian sub that went down, and it averted a planetary disaster. On September 17th, we had the fire. We didn't. Russia, the level 4, that was the only 2 in the world besides ours that housed the most deadly viruses. On October 18th, they did the Event 201. Also, October 18th through 27th, they did the World Military Games, which they hold every 4 years, in Wuhan, China. So, and maybe there's a connection, maybe there's not. And it's my belief that it is a biological weapon, but I don't think it came out of that lab. I think that somebody might have knocked off the lab in Russia, set it on fire, throw a little diversion, with the plans of letting it go during the military world games. There were over 100 nations that attended and almost 10,000 military people. Now, the reason I think that is as I'm watching how many countries end up getting this, all but 2 countries, we have 52 countries now. Out of 52 countries, 50 countries that attended the Wuhan Games have the virus. The other 2 countries, I don't know how they got it. But that's a pretty big percentage, wouldn't you think?
That is. And I tell you how they got it, because some people went there and visited with it. I mean, just on vacation, which is my biggest concern here. How many people in just the past, since January, just go back 2 months ago, that when this was already out and we weren't being told about it, were here from China visiting, or here from anywhere in Southwest Asia visiting. Now, there's a ton of people.
Well, Here's the scary part. They said we only have 200 tests for here in America. They don't know how many people here have it. We could all be walking around spreading it, and only 50 people. Ours never really raises that much. So, and the tests that they're making, the test kits that they have, they're not even reliable. So how are we even going to know? We know it was made in a lab. I mean, splicer and all that stuff. And that's the scary part. But even scarier.
Pray and hope for the best, because it could be a nothing, or it could be a major outbreak here in America. But thank you for the call. We appreciate it, and thanks for that. You're right. It's we don't know. That's the biggest unknown, is we don't know. All right, we don't know how many people are walking around with this currently, or how many people have already died from what they thought was just the flu that could have been this. So anyhow.
All right, so we're going to go to, just so you guys know where you are in the queue, we've got Andy from Colorado. We've got someone from Tennessee who didn't leave their name, but you said something about North Korea. We've got David Fetter from Illinois. We've got Kenneth Nicely, who made a donation from Virginia. And we have Paul from Seaford, Delaware. So you guys just hold on. And then there was a guy named Jeff from Florida. It looks like you had something really interesting to say about the stock markets. Your call dropped, so feel free to call back in. Let me go to Kenneth Nicely right now, because Kenneth gave us a super chat a little while ago. So Kenneth from Virginia.
Hello, Kenneth. You're on with Douglas Ducote. How are you, sir?
How you doing, Doug? Just a couple of quick questions there. In the chat room, I've actually been a tattoo artist, and doing so, you learn about the bloodbornes, such as HIV, AIDS, hepatitis, etc. But I know that you have to sterilize your equipment, because those viruses can stay on your equipment for I think the total was like 3 days. And with this new virus, I don't know the expiration date on it, but I'm curious if you actually heard anything about product getting shipped from China to here.
Yeah.
I worked at Walmart before, and I know most of their products there, it comes from China. So
yeah, this is what I'm being told. It's 27 days. 27 days. Now that's already on a human. Okay, how long it will last? Let's say that let's say this box came from China, but it didn't. It came from Mexico, but let's say it came from China. How long can the virus stay on that? I don't know. I haven't heard that, but you can bet that's going to be a major issue, because go around your house. Every other thing you pick up in your home, and I don't care where you live, is going to say made in China. I was blown away when I read on this box that these came from Mexico. I was like, I'll be damned. Go figure. But everything else, looking around my desk, everything's made in China. Guess where this got made at? Oh, China.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's a concern. How long will it stay on a surface? We know the flu will. That's why I say it's so important that, if you go to Walmart, take the wet naps are there for a reason at the door. Let's wipe that freaking handlebar down, because somebody with the regular flu sneezed or coughed on that, and then you grab it next and touch your face with it, or your nose or your eyes or your mouth. Guess what? You just got it. All right. So we know that can hang around for a while. So yeah, you got a great point there. And that's something I'm going to research and look into now that you brought it up. How long do they think this can stay on an object that's not the human body? Good thought.
The other question, I can't remember which video you posted up there, but me and a another patriot had the same question. We was wondering about your friend Rusty and how he was doing.
A matter of fact, I got a call from Rusty today. I haven't even had the opportunity. I wasn't able to answer it. I haven't even been able to listen to the voicemail, but I got a call from him today. I know it's from his number, so I assume it's him, or it could be one of his family members, but they all have my number as well as I have theirs. And they also have the phone numbers, and they're in constant contact with my my buddy Mike, who's also our security person when we go out on these investigations. So I don't think it's anything bad. The last on him was he is no longer in the hospital. He has been moved to a rehabilitation hospice type place, which will probably be his final home. He will not be going back to his house. So, that's the sad part of it. But, he's a great guy, and we have, please keep him in your thoughts and prayers. And next time I get down there, we'll be doing, talking to him and hopefully be around for a while. But, just in December, I think it was November, he was given 12 to 16 months of life left because of the cancers that he has. So, he knows it, and all those around him directly know it. And so he's now in a place where his last days are going to be comfortable and not the situation he was in when we went down there and found him. So that's the best I can say. I will mention when you say you brought it up in chat, but when you say you brought it up in chat, let me say this. A lot of people, I hear this from time to time. A lot of people say, why do you not answer, when I said something or I made a comment or what have you? Folks, there are literally thousands of comments on my videos. There is no way possible for me to sit there and go through every one of these comments. When I have free time on my hands, I will scroll through them. And basically what I'm actually looking for is things that what I call a red flag that I can be of assistance with right away. Some type of an emergency situation, something dealing with veterans or suicide, because I'm also, running this organization, Veterans United for Justice, 24/7, helping veterans out. Okay. And so I get a lot of vets contact me through social media, whether it's on the Facebook page or it's on actually the comment sections in my YouTube channel, which is, I wish they wouldn't go that route, because they know my phone number, they know how to reach out to Veterans United for Justice, and it's it's 24 hours a day phone line. And if it's an actual emergency, after hours, I will have a certified PTSD counselor on the phone with them within 15 to 20 minutes of us receiving that call, if not sooner, or in person. So, but there's just no way for me to answer all these. And then the other thing is, a lot of people say, why did you remove my comment? Okay. I don't remove anybody's comment. All right. YouTube, you would not believe. And for those that have YouTube accounts and do this on a regular basis, they can tell you the same thing. YouTube, probably for every 5 comments that they allow to show up, in the algorithms or whatever it is that, picks up what you wrote, at least 1 or 2 of those go into a separate folder that you have to go in and approve that comment. And every one of my videos, by the time I get to doing that, there's 500-600 comments in there that YouTube flagged. Some of them make sense because they're saying horrible words or whatever, but others don't. Like it blows me away. They're going, hey, Mr. Ducote, you're doing a great job. Thank you so much for your video. And boom, it's flagged. So, there's no rhyme or reason to it. But I don't go.
Yeah, some of these some of these YouTubers there, they baffled me there. Just like this Cindy, whatever her name is, the one that goes around there posting all these, ridiculous messages and everything. I got hit by one as well. I know Joe, he got hit with I don't know how many, but I mean,
Joe and I have a lot of good friends.
That YouTube doesn't do anything about it.
I know. I agree. Hey, brother, thank you so much for your call. I sure do appreciate it. We got to move on to other people waiting. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yep.
And thank you for your donation, Kenneth. Hang on, Doug, I just want to slip a question in here from the chat from Kathy Stevens, who made a donation. Thank you very much, Kathy. She said, I'm so worried about red flag law and is it the coronavirus at the same time? Any intuitive advice, sir?
No. Just be involved with your local government. Be involved with those that are making those kind of decisions. Call them. Let them know how you feel about red flag laws. You do the same thing. Have your family members call them. Have your friends call them. If you believe in the Second Amendment, you should be actively involved in your community, holding your members of Congress accountable for their actions and vote their ass out if they're doing shit like that. Any connections or links with this, it's night and day. There's nothing there that I can connect in any way, shape, or form. And I don't think there is.
Yeah, and I just want to say I'm proud here in Sumner County, Tennessee. I just saw an article my wife texted me during the show. We are now a Second Amendment sanctuary here. So Sumner County.
Amen to that.
Way to go. Yeah, local government. All right, so Andy from Colorado, you are on with the Douglas Ducote Show.
Hello, Andy. Welcome.
Hello, Douglas?
Yes, hello. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing awesome, and how are you? It is such an honor to be speaking with you, and I want to thank you again, of course, for taking care of Rusty. What a wonderful thing you folks have done.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. My question is, I'm here in Colorado. I'm east of Colorado Springs, and I've talked about some little shaking of my couch and some underground maybe digging going on around here. But I've noticed, what I wanted to say is we talk about the southern border a lot and what's coming through there. And in my mind, I've kind of tracked how it goes up through I-25, up through Billings, Montana, and right up into Canada. And I want to get your thoughts on what you feel about, or what you know about what may be coming down through our northern border, because I believe the northern border is an issue as well. All of our borders are right now.
Great question. And I will tell you this. There are those that have bad intentions that are looking at the northern border as well because of all the effort we put into the southern border. But here's the difference. The southern border is so out of control with people coming from all over the world and all over Central and South America because people can go there easily. Canada is a totally different situation. People from other countries can't just hop into Canada and head to the border like they can in Central and South America. Doesn't work that way. It'd be no different than how they come into America. We have the same identical working military and law enforcement communities with Canada and America are like this, okay? With the border patrol, all that stuff. And for those, and we've talked about this when we've talked to the border patrol people and when we talk to the unions and so forth. And, are there people that have bad intentions coming from the northern border? Yes. It's like, one person per 10,000 that come across, legally compared to on the southern border where it's just the opposite. So right now, at least, as long as we're on the good terms we are with Canada when it comes to our military and our law enforcement, as opposed to how we are with Mexico and Central and South America, where we're damn near at war with them because of the cartel. It's night and day. So I would not worry about the northern border right now at all. I mean, that's besides in the wintertime, they're going to freeze to death. So before they ever get across it.
That's right, crawling through the snow. But yeah, because I've always thought about that. It's like, are we paying attention to that northern border? Because it's what my gut is telling me, that there's something coming through. I don't know what it is. It's like here in Colorado. There's places in Colorado I'm going, okay, I don't want to move to there. I don't want to move to there. And there's very limited places in my mind that I would want to relocate to here in Colorado. It's just changed that much, Douglas, and it's really sad. It really is sad.
I keep hearing a lot of that about Colorado, and it is sad because it's a beautiful place. And
yes,
but God bless you, and thank you so much for the call, and thank you for the wonderful thoughts and prayers for us and for our friends down south.
Absolutely. Bless you too, and thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, so we have someone who's going to call in that was in the chat about healthcare professionals. I gave her a private line. So you guys know when you're calling in the show, I can have up to 35 call lines open, but I don't want you guys all hanging out in there only listening over the phone. I think it's kind of rude. And then you're there for an hour, 2 hours, and you don't get to watch the show. So I only leave 5 call lines open. So you'll hear a busy signal after 5. Otherwise, you're stuck on the phone listening, and I think you'd rather be watching it. So let's go to Jeff Mills from Florida.
Hello, Jeff. You're on with Douglas Ducote. How are you, sir?
Hey, Doug. Pretty good. Let me give you my thoughts on this corona and the stock market. They're going to weaponize. Hello? How are you? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
I'm here, Doug. You there? Okay,
yes,
I was going to tell you my thoughts on the coronavirus. I believe they're going to weaponize that coronavirus and the stock market against Trump.
Well, they are definitely doing that with the stock market right now. And when I look at all, in fact, I'm going to read here shortly something that just came out on the news from the Washington Post that shows exactly what you're talking about, where they're weaponizing it against the president.
Right. Now, one thing before I go, Doug, what Donald Trump could have done was he could have asked Congress for $10 billion, let them refuse to give it to him, then Trump's got a hell of a case against him.
Yeah, I agree. And it's no matter what happens with anything, positive or negative, deaths or life saved, the left will turn it into something negative about this president. And that's we just have to be that. So, well, thank you, brother, for your call.
Thank you.
All right, so now, and look, to that point, it was Rahm Emanuel, who was in the Obama administration, then he was the mayor of Chicago. He's got a powerful brother named Ezekiel Emanuel, who wrote Obamacare. He's got another powerful brother named Ari Emanuel that's one of the top dogs in Hollywood. Actually, Ari is Trump's agent from Celebrity Apprentice. But Rahm Emanuel always said, never let a good crisis go to waste. So
right.
Whether or not, this is a bioweapon gone bad, whether it's a natural thing, to me, whether it was deployed on purpose or not, the left will make this thing work to their advantage because they never let a good crisis go to waste. The ends justify the means with them, and by all means necessary. Those are their 3 slogans. So that's what you're dealing with. Let's go to Dave.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. After Dave, then we'll do. I want to bring everybody up to speed on this latest breaking news. But go
Let's
ahead.
go to Dave in Springfield, Illinois.
Hi, Doug. I want to thank
Hello,
you
Dave.
for
How
all
are you?
that you've done and enjoy your show. I have two basic questions. I have told
Yes,
my
sir.
family that we're going to pick up one last load of supplies on Saturday, and we are going to go out to our bug out location, which is very primitive. Do you think I'm jumping the gun on this, or are there some signs that I should watch out for and then go?
That's a great question. I also have a bug out place, and I'm well stocked to survive with my family for over a year. I'm not doing that yet, and I'm in a very populated area. Is it overreacting? I don't think it's overreacting, not just on the coronavirus, but there's a lot of other things that I haven't even had a chance to do videos on yet that I'm getting to, but that are more important than this as far as how it affects Americans living or dying. All right. There's a lot of things in the news that you guys aren't hearing, or I say the news because the news isn't talking about it, but I'm getting fed to me from my brothers and sisters that are working in law enforcement right now, and those still on active duty going, Doug, man, let me tell you what we're finding out here, what we're finding out there. Okay. So there's a lot of scary things that are happening right now that I really am. I'm hoping within the next couple of days, I will get out a video addressing at least one of those that involve terrorism. Let's just leave it at that for now. But so leaving now, no, I don't think it's something to laugh at in any way, shape, or form. If you're able to do that, then by all means do it. Be safe.
Yeah, I think we're going to do that. The other thing is, you can take this to the nth degree as far as like anything that you buy or bring into the house should be decontaminated. Even your mail could have the virus on it because it can last, 9 or 10 days on different things. And of course, if you've got friends, if they come over, they could be carriers and you not even know it. So it's kind of hard to figure out what to do here. And I think just basically getting out, getting away from everybody and everything might be the best defense.
Well, your number one priority in life is what?
Protect my family.
Bingo. So do whatever you think is makes that your mission.
All right, Doug.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for calling in, and God bless you, and y'all be safe.
All right. So you said you got to do an update on something?
Yeah. Let me cover this real quick, folks. This is one of the callers was talking a while ago about the left weaponizing this virus against the president. And I think what they meant by that is what I'm fixing to share with you, which is not, send him the virus to make sure he gets it, but use it as a way to attack him politically to try and ruin him like they've been doing for the past 3.5 years. Okay. And who other than the Washington Post to print this, and this came out literally 30 minutes before I came on air tonight. All right. So you're going to love this shit. All right. You ready for it? Here we go. Officials at the Department of Health and Human Services sent more than a dozen workers to receive the first Americans evacuated from China, the epicenter for coronavirus outbreak, without proper training for infection control or appropriate protective gear, according to a whistleblower. Now, I'm not going to read the rest of it because it plays out as stupid as the whole Russia hoax crap and the whistleblower with everything we just been through with trying to impeach this president. But, and I'm not even saying go to the Washington Post and look at it for yourself. Yeah, I am. Because that's not going to give them any, it's not like it's not going to CNN or MSNBC where they're going to get numbers. You can go pull this article up yourself. and read this stupid shit. They want you to, now, hey, look, I don't know. I wasn't there. All right. I don't know what we set people to do or not do when it came in. But I can't imagine for the life of me that we would be that damn stupid, knowing what we know about the disease, knowing what the Health and Human Services knows about the disease before we were ever told about what was happening in China, would send people to get these folks off the plane to take them to quarantine without protective gear. Now, could it have happened? Yeah, it's the United States government. But when I read this, the first thing I thought was, here we go again. How can we weaponize this towards the president for political purposes? And there you go, Washington Times, with a whistleblower telling you what's about to happen. Or what did happen, I'm sorry. Okay, so who do we have next on the lines?
All right, just two quick things, because Kenneth Nicely, who was just on the phone, who left a super chat before, he just sent some info in chat. He said he looked it up and found it, that some strains of coronavirus could last up to 9 days on surfaces. So maybe that's something, Kenneth, if you email, just email Dustin at douglasducote.com, that source, I'll get it to Doug. And then he'll have time probably in the next couple of days to look into it and pop a quick video out about that, like an update, PSA kind of thing.
Yeah, I would like to know that answer.
And then the other thing is, I just wanted to put in context a story you told me and a guest we may have on soon, someone you met recently who had firsthand knowledge of what the left and the Democrats will do to try to hurt Trump, and not just Trump, us. In the case of the Puerto Rican hurricane that occurred, it turned out they were sitting on all kinds of goods and everything that the president had sent down there. And this was someone, firsthand knowledge, told Doug it was a total and complete lie.
Yeah. This is a not only somebody from Puerto Rico, but he's active duty in the United States military, which is why we're going to have him disguised when we bring him on, because they will flip the hell out if they knew we were doing this with him. But he's going to show us and explain to us firsthand how it was all a freaking lie. You know, that the response to those hurricanes, the two of them that came back to back and took out Puerto Rico, the response from the Trump administration was bigger than any response by the federal government under any president since the beginning of time. But yet you were told and led to believe that Trump doesn't give a shit about those islands of Puerto Rico. So yeah, we're going to blow that out of the water and just prove that this is it's all bullshit.
Yeah, just another case of distorting the truth and using these crises for their own advantage. Now, I think in the private call line, I think this is Stephanie we've got on the line, who was emailing me when we brought up the fact that our medical professionals said they couldn't go on the record. So, Stephanie, I think this is you.
Hello?
Hello, and you're on with Douglas Ducote. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing good.
Dustin had asked me to call in because I had some information about a couple areas.
Please share.
The first thing that I wanted to make you aware of is I had spoke to a Home Depot manager in my local area, and he said that the reason they were sold out of masks, the N95s and the N100s, is because churches and organizations were buying them as soon as they came in and sending them directly to China in the beginning to help those people.
I heard that too, actually, today.
Then the other thing was they had, there are now 16 states that have issued gag orders on emergency management staff, medical staff, first responders, EMS, and dispatch operators, citing HIPAA rights. Now, if there's only 53 people in the United States, then why do 16 states have gag orders?
Well, my personal belief is going to be that because they think this is fixing to explode into something like we've never seen before. You know, there's part of the medical
Well, my
profession
thoughts
that
are,
believes it's going to be bad, and
well, my thoughts are is they're already here
could
because
be
New York was the first state. New York was the first state to issue a gag order, which makes sense because New York City has the largest Chinatown in the United States.
right. San Francisco's got a big one too.
Right. The other thing that was released in the news yesterday was the first United States Marine is a confirmed case in Japan.
Was he a Marine or a U.S. Army soldier? I heard
U.S.
he was
Marine Corps.
U.S. Okay, yeah, it was a U.S. military member. Yeah, you're right. Yep. Poor
Okay.
guy, and you
So
don't know who all is
exactly.
possibly
Also,
around.
watching yesterday and today's Congressional Appropriation Committee hearings. Yesterday was the medical people. Today was
Yeah,
the State Department and stuff. I don't know if you watched that, but the
yeah.
person from the state emergency department, I think it was, said there was 1,174 people evacuated from China and the Diamond Princess. That's not what the media released, but today's
Correct.
hearings were public.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
And again, it's our government picking and choosing what they're going to. I mean, if you look at those two hearings between the one yesterday and the one today, some of it was they were countering each other, like basically
exactly. Yeah,
it was a dog and pony show from hell. It reminded me. This is what it reminded me of. It reminded me of when Hurricane Katrina happened, and we found out that the person that was put in charge of FEMA, their expertise was actually judging horse shows for billionaires that own race horses. All right. That was their expertise, and they were in charge of FEMA. So that's what that kept popping in my head every time that I was listening to this. You know, one group from the government says it's no big deal, and the other group says, "Oh my God, we're all going to die."
Right. And then for the people that were on the stage with the president last night, they were the ones that testified yesterday in the congressional hearing.
Correct.
What they said last night was pretty relevant to what they said yesterday. But then the guy, Dr. Redfield, I think his name is, from WHO, that's not what he said today.
Right.
In the congressional hearing.
Well, the other thing you have to think about that's on the president's mind is the stock market. And so even if I do believe, and it doesn't, and this is no hit on Trump, okay, by no means. It doesn't matter. I don't think it matters who the president is. If I was the president of the United States with this happening right now, looking at the stock market and knowing that the election is in a few months from now, I sure would not be panicking in front of the cameras and the microphone, So yeah, I get why I did what I did, but honest, depends on who's telling the truth when it comes to this virus.
Well, I don't even think the directors in the health departments are telling the truth.
No, I don't think they are either.
Especially that guy from WHO, because he was very good at avoiding direct answers today.
Yeah, and they're all looking at. I really do believe. I hate to say this, but I really do believe a lot of their answers are related to the stock market. They've got to find a way to turn that shit around really, really quick, and this is how they're going to do it. They're going to play this down in some cases. But then you're going to have others in government. They're going to go, you know what? I'm not going to play that silly ass game because this shit's serious. Now, whether or not it really is or isn't, you don't know which one of them's actually telling the truth. If you took the stock market out of the equation, I think it'd be a totally different story.
I absolutely agree. I think is doing the United citizens a huge disfavor, telling them not to buy the mask because they already said that people with comorbidities and respiratory issues are the ones that are getting this the most severe. So don't buy them. We need them for the medical staff. But it's these people that get it.
Big disservice.
All right, so Stephanie, thank you. If you get a chance, can you just email me the article?
So the other thing that I've found out through people that I know is the United States Postal Service has been refusing mail from China for weeks.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Stephanie, if you can, because we just got to jump to these
we can ship it to them, all of our supplies, but they can't ship anything here. Now on Amazon, the one thing that was brought up in the congressional meeting today was the fact that you can buy masks for $1 a piece, but shipping will cost you $400.
Yeah. Well, I don't doubt that.
Stephanie, if you can, because we got to wrap up on these other calls, can you email us over the articles that you're referencing, especially the one on the gag orders on 16 states emergency preparedness folks? That would be fantastic, because if Doug does another PSA with some updates, that would be great to put in there. If you could just email that over. All right, so let's we've got, I mean, this is obviously a hot topic because there's been a couple thousand people across platforms still watching, and the call lines are just racking up. So do you want to blow through these? If you guys can just ask a quick question.
Yeah, we can go ahead for another 10 or 15 minutes and try and get some of these phone calls taken care of.
Okay, guys. So it's a full queue right now. There's 6 people in. Do you want to say, don't call anymore? That'll be the final 6, just so we don't have people trying.
Yeah, let's just keep it at what we have in a queue right now, and then everybody else. I'm sorry, but I've got a wife and kids that are need me to pay attention to them tonight, as well as some of you do well.
So let's go to Paul in Delaware. He's been on hold for about 40 minutes. Paul.
Hello, Paul. Welcome, and sorry you're on hold so long.
Yeah, there we go.
Hello, Doug.
Hello, Paul.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Good. Hey, look, I really appreciate what you do on your YouTube channel. It's really great. One thing I wanted to say is everybody knows that our votes are very important, and we need to get all the patriots out to vote. Every single one of us need to vote this year. And but another thing that I think is very powerful is your wallet, your dollar. Decide on where you want to spend your money. Spend it in places that are going to do good. Stop going to Walmart just because it's convenient. Like cable TV. I don't have cable TV. Don't have any use for it. But people who do have cable TV, check in on CNN and MSNBC every now and then. And not to watch the news, but to watch the commercials. And make a list of the companies who run the commercials doing those shows, because that's who's funding those shows. And write letters to them, email them, tell them you're going to stop buying their products as long as they fund fake news like CNN and MSNBC, and then do it. Stop buying their products. The dollar in this country is very powerful, and used right, it can do a lot.
2 years ago, I did a video on that exact same subject.
Well, good. I missed that video, but I've been saying that to people for many, many years now. In this country, your wallet is just as powerful, if not more powerful, than your vote.
Yep.
So anyway, I know you got family to get to. I'm going to get off here. Thank you for having me on your show, and I'll continue watching you. And stay safe, brother. And thank you for your service in the military and your law enforcement service.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, man. Have a blessed night.
All right, so let's jump right over to Julie in Utah. You're on with Douglas Ducote.
Hello, Julie.
Yes, hi. How are you?
Doing great. And yourself?
How are you? I'm good. I'm good. I'm just have a few things I wanted to talk to you about. Oscar. You know Oscar L. Blue on YouTube? He puts out some really important things, and he'd be really good for you to pay attention to. He said that there's another caravan going to be coming on the 10th, and I've been watching him for quite some time. He talks about the rapes over there and stuff that they're doing. Anyway, also they've got, what I'm concerned about is what they're doing over in the White House. They're playing with all these games against Trump, and the Democrats are playing like it's some kind of game or something. I don't know. It's crazy how they're acting and all toward him. It's just nuts. And then they're causing all this rigmarole around people and causing them to fight and all this stuff. And is it true? Are they really doing it, or is it an act? You know, some of them are saying it's an act, some of them are saying it's not, and stuff like that. You know, it's like, what are they doing? You know, it's craziness. And then the new presidential candidates, everything that they're talking is just plain old crazy. It's like, oh my gosh, they're scaring the daylights out of us. Like, what is going on with these people? I mean, I can understand wanting to be good and helping people, but keeping people safe is another thing. You know, talking about, letting everybody in because, you know, if they do this, or letting somebody out of prison, even if they done that and all that stuff, is crazy. It's craziness.
I agree. Yeah.
I cannot believe some of the stuff they're doing. And in schools, the stuff they're doing in schools, oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it. These poor little kids, 6 years old. Oh my gosh. I can't believe what they're teaching them. I mean, you know, and I actually called and I spoke to them, and there was like, well, we really can't do anything, you know, and stuff. And it's like, well, you know, and they're like, and so I called Children's Child Protective Services, and they said, well, we can't do nothing because the police have to do it. And I'm thinking, what? I said, could you at least check on? I said, this is child abuse. This is sex abuse. I said, this is not right. And they're like, well, you'll have to call the police there, I guess. I'm like, at least check on them. You know, I was like, come on, please at least check on the poor kids. You know, I mean,
a little unnerving and very sad that a lot of these folks that are Democrats and liberals that are spewing most of this hate did not read the warning labeling on the Tide Pod boxes or the buckets that the Tide Pods come in. And when they took that challenge to eat the Tide Pods, they liked it. And now it's affected their brain cells, and they're spewing off things.
I know what you mean.
Insanity. You know, I'll make fun about the Tide Pod stuff, as a lot of people, but seriously, I don't know how you can be that damn dumb and have made it through life to eventually land your ass in Congress and make decisions for us. So, but thank you for your call, and I agree. It's pretty crazy what they're saying.
Another thing I've got is I got a whole bunch of pictures and stuff of proof of what these people have done. I have proof of it because I got pictures of it and stuff on my phone, and I can't do anything with them. So I sent some of them to some of the people up at the White House that are not on the Democrat side, on the Republican side.
There you go.
I sent some of it to President Trump. I sent some of it to President Trump. I sent some of it to Cruz, and I sent some of it to Johnson. Jim Johnson? Excellent. And I've called them several times and talked to them. I called the White House and all that. I mean, I'm like, this is not going to play with me. It's not going to fly with me. I'm tired of seeing this. It's not right.
Another thing is take it to your local media. See if they'll run a story on it.
Yeah, and the other thing, Julie, you know, and feel free to send it over to us, Dustin at DouglasDucote.com, and then I will send you a free password to bordercommand.com where you can upload that kind of stuff now. So, you know, just email me and I'll get that over to you. Let's go to Jace. I don't know if it's JC in Middle Tennessee. JC, you are on the line with
Doug.
Douglas Ducote.
Hello, Doug.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, Doug, it's JC in Middle Tennessee. I've been in LEO for 18 years. I want to thank you, sir, for everything that you and Dustin do. You mean a lot to me.
Thank you.
Let me throw something out at you. What's the biggest way to control the masses? It's the word fear. I think they're using this to control people's votes, the stock market, everything else associated with my great country. We've got to remember this is an election year, so the left will stop at nothing to keep our president from another term. So I wanted to throw it out and see what you thought.
I agree 100%. And I don't know if you heard it a while ago, but I read the article from the Washington Post that just came out of, it's been about an hour now, talking about how there's a whistleblower talking about how Trump is, has blew this whole thing up and isn't doing what he's supposed to protect us or protect the workers that are part of the HHS and so forth. So, yeah, it's freaking nuts.
Yes, sir. Well, tell Dustin next time you come to Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, I'll be more than honored to be part of your security team. Tell him to give you my number. God bless you in Maryland. I appreciate everything you do because we've got to stand for this country, Doug. I love it very much.
Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate it. Thank you for your service.
And JC,
thank you. Have a good night.
I got that, JC. We'll meet up soon.
God bless you in Maryland. I appreciate everything you do because we've got.
All right, and now let's go to, I think it's, I don't know if it's Will Collins, Oklahoma. Will, I have show notes now. I can see that you've been on the show before, so let's go to Will.
Hello, Will.
Yeah. Hey, brother, Will Collins, Oklahoma, down here. Who's in charge of pulling posts? Is that your mods doing that, or is it Google or YouTube?
As far as the YouTube portion is concerned,
I'm not cussing. I'm not cussing. I'm not being rude. I'm trying to convey information, but no big deal. The first thing is, ain't nobody gets out of this life alive. And I think they're blowing this way up, but it is bad. From the vids I've seen coming out of China, before this ever started, you got it 2 weeks before you ever know it. So it could have been here a long time.
I agree.
So, God bless. Thank you very much. You got family to get to. Get on their case about pulling my posts.
Hey,
because I'm trying to tell people, everybody's asking how long, and it's 9 to 10 days on a package. So later, man.
Hey, Will, this is Dustin here, real quick. I just
God
wanted
bless.
I was just going to tell you real quick, if you're listening, Will, is yes, YouTube actually pulls a lot of comments. So we try, but YouTube pulls a lot, and when the chat is real busy, it's hard for us to turn them on. You have to approve them. Just like Doug was saying with the comments on his videos. So, yeah, a lot of times, probably 99% of the time, it is Google and YouTube, and it depends on how many mods are in there being able to do it in real time. So, we apologize. We only pull stuff if it's, like, real bad, and there are things that are going to get Doug's channel flagged. Like, if people start popping Nazi stuff in, then YouTube uses that as an excuse to flag his videos. So, we have to be real careful about that kind of stuff. All right, let's go. Last few calls. Adam from Texas, you're on with Douglas Ducote.
Hello, Adam.
Hi, Doug. Great talking to you. I'm here in San Antonio, Texas, and as you know, here at Lackland Air Force Base, we are holding a whole bunch of people infected with the coronavirus in quarantine. I believe, a week ago, one person did go to the hospital here in San Antonio. They transported them from Lackland to the Methodist Hospital, Texas, I believe, and it had to be leaked out because, it was kind of a shock when the people in San Antonio were like, what's going on? You're transporting this person. What about the people that were around this person when you're transporting him into the hospital. Yes, the people in the ambulance probably had protective gear, but moving that person in, through the hospital with other patients, that's what had me worried. And one more thing, they made comments on the local news that before the coronavirus was quarantined, they said people that were self-quarantined themselves here in their own homes. Now, I don't know, 2 weeks self-quarantine, I think the residents here in San Antonio are probably going to run out into the store to get supplies. So that's what's got me kind of worried. And I'm an educator, and I got his email from our district saying, make sure kids cover their noses and, hygiene stuff and, wipe down desks. So they're keeping a close eye on the epidemic, so-called. So it's got me kind of worried.
Yeah, I agree. And it's good that the schools are getting on top of that. Lackland, it's surprising that you said that they took somebody in quarantine from Lackland to a civilian hospital. I'm not sure what was up with that or why they did it, because some of the best medical facilities in the world are on that Air Force base. When I was active duty military in the Army, they brought my son there to have a surgery done. I've had tests done there when I came back from the first Gulf War with a lot of different health issues. Lackland is, and I've got family members that live in the area as well where you're at. Lackland is very well staffed medically wise and has all the above and beyond what normal military bases have, with the exception of like Maryland, for instance. Where in places where the president goes. So that's interesting. They would take somebody off the base to a civilian hospital that doesn't have the same capabilities that they do. Lackland, for instance, when we have any kind of conflict or we have service members injured in Central or South America, boom, that's where they take them to when they get them into the States, because they're very well able to handle it there. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you with that, brother, but it is good to know that the schools are sending that information out to you guys to be proactive. So thank you.
Yeah. And and thank you for everything you do, and God bless our president, and God bless the Republic.
Thank you. Same to you, brother.
All right, so let's go to Joe from Georgia. He's been waiting about 20 minutes. Joe from Georgia, you're on with Douglas Ducote.
Hello, Joe. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good.
One question.
Yes.
What is going to be the procedure if you have a coronavirus diagnosis in a county in Georgia? What is going to be the procedure for containment?
That's a good question. I can't particularly say what it is for each individual state, but I can tell you the best way to get that answer would be to contact your local Homeland Security for that state. Each state has their own in-house Homeland Security type setup, and ask them what are they planning on doing. Because that's, our state here in Louisiana has already been talking about it and all the different things that they plan to do when they come up with anybody positive. So I'm sure they're doing the same thing in Georgia as far as planning it, but you'd have to contact them directly to ask them about their plan for that state. Hopefully it's all working together, how they're going to contain it.
All right, just one other question. Does HIPAA laws have anything involvement with that as far as releasing information?
Well, HIPAA law is for individual medical stuff for a person, as far as giving out their personal information in conjunction with who they are and their name. Okay. But how they plan to, or what their plan is for a pandemic, an outbreak. That's got nothing to do with HIPAA at all. They can share that information with you. All you got to do is call and ask.
Okay. The only reason why I'm asking that is like if what is their contingency plan as far as like schools, stuff like that. That's more or less what I'm interested in.
Yeah, and that's something you're going to have to ask them, and I'm sure, they'd be more than happy to share that with you, because that's information that they're supposed to share with you. That's their whole purpose, is to keep you safe. So there's a plan in effect, and they should openly share that with you if you ask them. You probably go to their website as well,
okay,
for your state and see it. I'm sure.
Yeah, I know, because I've been hearing I've been hearing stuff that Florida is not giving out any information. So I live like on a border town over here by the submarine base, and they're not volunteering any information with anything.
I've got friends in Florida, and I'm hearing just the opposite for Florida. So I mean, depends on who you talk to. Not everybody's going to have the exact. Somebody can say something, and by the time it gets to the 10th or 20th person, who knows what it's going to say.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of misinformation out there. I mean, there's stuff all over the place. So I appreciate you taking the time for my call. So
yes, sir.
Really appreciate it, Doug. Watch your website. You too.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. All right, let's get to the last two calls here, and that's it, guys. So don't call in. The call line's closed. Let's go to Mark from Missouri.
Hello, Mark.
Hello, Doug. I want to say thank you.
Mark from Missouri.
Doug?
Yes.
Yeah,
thank
Doug.
You, sir.
Can you hear me?
I can
all
hear you.
Right.
There's a little delay, but I can hear you.
Yeah, all right. I wanted to talk to you about this socialism.
You're going to want to turn down. You're going to turn down whatever you're listening to.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about this socialism thing that's going on. Did you know? I want to talk to you about it. Why does the Democrats think it's going to work this time on socialism when it didn't work back in the Depression? And there's a story I wanted to share with you on socialism. My grandfather, who came from Macedonia, he had a friend of his that came from Turkey. At that time, Turkey was communism. And he came over to the United States. And the thing that he thought was so super was that he went and he said, I go downtown to Kansas City, I can buy me a gun. Nobody asked me a question. He says, I got on the train at the Union Station in Kansas City, and he said, nobody stopped me and asked me where I was going or who I was going to go see. And he said he went to Chicago and nobody stopped him, asked him where he was going. He said he could go outside during the night and walk the streets. He said where he came from, you couldn't do these sort of things. So keep up the good reports that you got coming to me. It's good talking to you. And I want to say thank you for all your service, and keep the information coming. This is where I'm getting the true story. So I just want to share a couple of things on socialism, Doug.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I will continue to do my ultimate best to make sure my audience gets the facts and the truth. Thank you, and have a blessed evening.
All right, so let's go to the last call, which is Debbie from Jacksonville, Arkansas.
Hello, Debbie. How are you?
Hey, Debbie.
I'm good. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How can I help you tonight?
Well, awesome. I'm amazed that I got through. This is so cool. So I just want to let you know I really appreciate what you're doing, and we love the information that you're feeding us, and we turn on the TV and none of that is coming through the things that you guys are reporting to us. And I just want to let you know that I really thank you, and from the bottom of my heart, and I know a lot of other people are saying the same thing. Thank you so much. We tune in, we hear you, we listen, we know, we as Americans, we are with you. Some of us can't do as much as what you are doing for us, and we just really appreciate that you are doing what you're doing. And I just can't say enough that we're so thankful that you are there. And you know, a lot of us are getting up and going to work Monday through Friday, taking care of our families, and we're so busy with trying to do what we need to do to just be there to take care of our families and put food on the table and that kind of thing. And we see what's going on in America, and it's breaking our hearts. And we, you know, the elite, the billionaires have no clue what we are all going through. And with this whole thing with, you know, immigration and all that, my heart breaks for these people who want to come into our country and they want what we have, but yet we have to have rule and law and order, and to just let it flow in, it just doesn't work. And so I really appreciate what you guys do, and I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And I just don't know that you hear that enough. But that's why I wanted to call in, was to just say there's so many people out there that I really believe that we are all together. We are all believing in what you're saying. We are all in communion with what you are doing. We want to back you and do the same thing. I would love to go to the borders and help you. But yet we're taking care of our families, and we're so thankful that you are doing what you're doing. And so that's just what I wanted to say is, it's just thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. We love what you're doing. Keep doing it. And we're going to keep following and listening, and we are there. And whatever, just keep doing what you're doing, and thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you very, very much for the call. I'm glad we were able to get your call. And look, I am honored to be able to do what I do. I'm blessed to be able to do what I do. I'm blessed that I'm alive today due to all the things that I've experienced in life. I've got so many of my brothers and sisters that I serve with that, you know, some did not come home with me when I came home, and some came home missing limbs and a whole lot worse situation than I'm in. And so I'm blessed that I'm able to do things to help support them, support their families, and put out information like I do in my videos and on the Douglas Ducote show that's factual based information. And you know that it's working when you have those on the left and the Democrats attacking you on a daily basis for what you're saying. So that, as well as getting compliments like you just gave, I'm humbled and I appreciate it, and I will keep doing everything I can to get the information out there to people like yourself and your family. So God bless you, and thank you very, very much for calling in and sharing that with us.
Hey, Doug, and I just want to bring up one thing that was coming up in the chat before we wrap up and get out of here. We were talking earlier about how the left never lets a good crisis go to waste, how they believe in the ends justify the means. They believe in all means necessary. And I just want to say, if I were the president of the United States right now, and I know this reflects a lot of the people in the chat, I would be using this situation as an opportunity to call for emergency funding, not just for coronavirus, because apparently the White House was going to ask for $1 billion for management on this, which goes to show me he doesn't think it's that bad, or he'd be asking for more. But I would utilize this as an opportunity to demand the $20 billion you originally wanted to secure the southern border. I would start putting up the terror block system immediately, of which Doug just talked about the other night with Jessica Vaughn from Center for Immigration Studies. I would use this as an opportunity to declare the Insurrection Act signed by Thomas Jefferson in 1807, which would allow him, the president, to use the military as a police force on the border with arrest powers, not just with the ability to have weapons. These are things we've been talking about. We know have filtered the way up to the president, but I'd be using this opportunity. It's almost too late now. It could have been something that could have been done on day one or day two and say, big problem. Here we go. We got to shut the whole thing down. But it was an opportunity you could use to close down that southern border, of which we'll be bringing you guys a lot of information on that soon. We're in the final stages of getting the next leg of that done. And as you see, Doug's been doing more interviews with people on the border. And you can always go to bordercommand.com. All his interviews are there. All of the documentary footage is on there in raw form and the edited versions we put out. And now you could sign up on there to join the forum, which will allow you guys to log into the site and share stories and stuff that you want us to see and start sharing this information with each other. We're going to deploy a forum that's very similar on Doug's site, which I'm actually rebuilding a second version of right now. It's going to be a place for you guys to network with each other. And that'll be up probably in the next week or two. Border Commands is done, and what I'm working on now is trying to fuse the login so you could create one account and log into Border Command and Doug's site with the same exact login, so you don't have to have two different logins. So if I can figure that step out, then we will have the forum in both places, and you guys can start sharing articles and info, because obviously, with Doug's limited time, our time, how many shows we can produce, how much stuff we can research, we can't cover everything, but you guys can start building friendships with each other and sharing information that you think is important in a place where people are going to appreciate it, not just dumping it on Facebook or on Twitter, but putting it into a community, not an echo chamber, but a place where you're with like-minded people who can share that with their families and share that with their friends, and it's not distracted by all the noise of cat videos and food pictures. So that's where we're headed with this, and this will all be done in the next couple of weeks. But go to bordercommand.com and sign up, and you'll see what we're doing over there. All right, thank you.
Very cool. Thank you, sir. And so bordercommand.com, douglasducote.com. Also, we have the Douglas Ducote Show on Twitter. Go there and sign up if you would, please. I'm now on Vimeo under Douglas M. Ducote Sr., which is a new thing we just started yesterday. We built the account. So we're trying to spread out on social media. On Facebook, American Patriot by the Grace of God, and the Douglas Ducote Show. And also, I'm on Instagram, which was against everybody in my family said, don't do that. But I'm on Instagram, and that's more to share personal stuff. It's not really about the show as much. I mean, I put some things on Instagram that I'm doing, public appearances and things like that, but mostly Instagram is, to see pictures of my pets, fun things, pictures of military service, things like that. And you can also find that on American Patriot by the Grace of God on Facebook. I have a whole section there of different conflicts and things I did in the military as well as in law enforcement, to show people, that I'm a normal person just like you are. I put my pants on the same way, and I just care about this country, and I care about the direction we're going in. And I will leave this tonight's show with one thing with you real quick that, and I've shared this before, but for some of you, this may be the first time you've ever heard this. My great uncle, Charlie Rochelle, on my dad's side. So he was my dad's mother, which is my grandmother's brother. All right. He served in World War II on the USS Milwaukee and the USS Biloxi. He was on the USS Biloxi when they were hit by a kamikaze aircraft and killed some of his friends. He passed away a few years ago in his mid 80s, and all of his life he had a dislike for the Japanese people, based, or anyone that even looked like they were from Japan, all right, based on what his experience was like in combat, based on the fact that they attacked America, they attacked Pearl Harbor, and then because of the war that they brought us into, thousands and thousands of Americans died fighting in that battle, and finally ending with the atomic bomb, too. But one of the things in his final years that he kept saying, I say final years, final year, was that he was ready to go. And he was ready to go because he didn't recognize America anymore. And Obama was the president at the time. It was Obama's first term, actually, when my great uncle passed away. And I remember him saying to me that, I have no idea where I'm at. I mean, not that he was getting Alzheimer's or anything like that. He was completely sane of mind, but that what he meant was what I served for, the country that I went to war for and defended, is not the same country anymore. I don't recognize this. It's like everything we did in the military throughout his lifetime was in vain. And it didn't really sink into me, that depth, until the last probably 2 years so far, where I get it. And people, vets that served in the Middle East, I hope that we don't go through all of our life looking twice at people that appear to be, Islam, from Islam, or Islam, the faith, or Muslim. All right. But it's not racist. It's not bigotry. It's what we fought against. It's what the government sent us to do. Okay. And then we come back to America afterwards and watch two people become the first Muslims in Congress, two women. And while that's to be applauded, look what they're saying about our military and our vets and our law enforcement. They freaking hate us. No different than those we fought in the Middle East hate us. And so, I don't want to go through the rest of my life looking over my shoulder at these people. And I couldn't understand how he felt that way about people from, Asia. But I get it now. And I also look at all the conflicts we've been in my time on Earth, and I'm starting to wonder, did these people die in vain and get injured in vain? Because it's a disgrace what we've done over the past few years, especially under the Obama administration. Those 8 years destroyed our military and did so much damage to our VA. And, it's going to take years for us to recover. But this is not the same America that I served in combat for. It's not. There are times when I wake up and I go, what in the hell? How did we get to this place where so many people that are liberals, but they're Americans, hate America and hate our flag, and NFL players kneeling during the national anthem, and then two members of Congress that are Muslim hating everything we stand for? And I go, what in the hell? How did we get here? And that's why it is so important to me, and I believe 99.9% of every veteran that ever put on the uniform that we win in 2020 and we take back the House and keep the Senate, or we're done as a nation. The writing is on the wall. If one of these Democrats, if you watch the debates, if we're not just one of those, any of those in that group, pick one, I don't care, become the next president, America is history. Mark my words on it. I will keep putting videos out. I'll keep talking about it. And I'll be talking about the horrible shit that's happening to us under the new president. And one day, my friends, in my lifetime, I do believe, unless God decides I'm going to leave early, but if I live to be a ripe old age in my 80s or 90s, and I hope I do, in my lifetime, we're going to see another Democrat. And I hope that when that time comes, the Democrat Party will have lost so bad by allowing these liberals to infiltrate them that they will kick their ass out, and they will take back the party and turn it back into the party that I used to belong to when I was a Democrat. Turn it back into the Democrats of the JFK era, where they actually had common sense and they fought against socialism. But today, the new radical Dems that want to run this country freaking love socialism. When we got one that's at the top of the ticket right now for the Democrats, Bernie Sanders, praising Fidel Castro and Cuba and Venezuela, that is outright scary. And folks, we got to turn this shit around. It's up to us to get everybody out to frickin' vote. It's very, very important. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. You had many things you could do, but you chose to tune in and watch this show. We went a whole lot longer than we expected, but we wanted to be able to take in as many phone calls as we could. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I am blessed and I'm honored that I'm able to do this show and do these videos to get the truth out to you, the American patriots that deserve the truth. It is my pleasure. As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families, our president, and our country. God bless you, everyone, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.